Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to the Infinite Way podcast, where spirituality meets humanity. And I am so excited to have the guest on that we have today. Her name is Helen Gibson, and she is the founder of Authentic Discovery, where Helen facilitates a space for healing and exploration. Helen is a PHA ambassador, and that's People's Health Alliance, if you didn't know, for mental well-being and co-founder of Anam Cara, which offers open drops insurance for those struggling with their psychological health, and creator of First Assist BeingWell, FAB. Helen is a mother and a grandmother, and she lives in rural Éire with her husband, dog, cats, and chickens. Can't forget those. Welcome, Helen.
Hello, Enolia. Well, thank you so much for asking me to join you, and thank you for that introduction. Listening to myself being introduced, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So, and I know that I have to let you know what I do, but sometimes it's when you hear something back, you hear it. Do you know what I mean? So you receive it in a different way. So thank you very much. And yeah, Anam Cara is that's Gaelic. I'm just going to do that because that was one of the things when you were telling me. I was like, oh, Anam Cara is it's Gaelic for soul friend. It actually translates to
Mm.
soul friend, and they are drop-ins. We have open Zoom drop-ins that people can just come along to if they are feeling that they need some support in any way. And we have people that are trained and benefactors that will host that. It's a vision that it will grow, but at the moment, so that's what Anam Cara drop-ins are. So I just thought I'd
Thank
do that one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for explaining that. And it's so funny because all of our podcasts start out the same way, right? Everybody wants to know the story and everything else. But when I first met you, and actually, when you had me on your radio show, Holistic Radio, I loved what you did for opening. So I'm going to ask you to do that here. Will you sing Three Little
Sing.
Birds? Yes,
Oh
please.
my God, I
Beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you. I will sing. You're saying that I've just done this week's show and I had to pre-record it because it was done with somebody in New Zealand, so the times weren't right. And they actually asked me to sing Redemption Song. So, but I do open my show with Three Little Birds. So, rise up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. Three little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Saying, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. Saying, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. I'll just do that bit, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. I love that so much. And I so appreciate you. And you
Thank
you have to tell us the story of your singing. How
Oh,
long
my
have
sister.
you been singing? Where?
Oh, I actually, this is interesting because I can feel the shame of my past kind of starting to envelope over me. Is that I don't sing the way I don't sing in public as a rule. I do sing, but I don't sing.
Mhm.
I don't class myself as a singer. And there is something that needs to be done around this in terms of my voice, because I'm aware that my voice heals, and I do sing over my clients. I will sing, I don't sing Bob Marley over my clients, but I sing over them and work on that vibration that comes back. And that was because last year I went to was it last year or the year before? The years are just melt. You know when the years start to melt. Anyway, I think it was a year ago. I went to, no, it was the year before actually. I went to a festival and there was somebody doing a chakra dance workshop, and she was playing the music and dancing. And she was having massive tech issues and the music kept stopping and stopping and stopping. And we got to this one thing, and I sing when I don't think people can hear me, I sing anyway. And she was the music stopped, and I still was I will dance because there's always music in my head, so I would dance. And anyway, I started to make sounds and music and I was thinking, geez, this music's really taking time to come back on. Why hasn't she put the music back on? And when I dance, I close my eyes because I'll tell you the reason for that in a minute. But so anyway, I'm like, why isn't the music back on? And I opened my eyes, and everyone in the room was like, just standing staring at me. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because I thought, I'd interrupted this.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, no, 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 no. Do you sing? You have to sing your music here. Everybody got goosebumps. And this woman came up to me. She was like, you have to sing. Your voice heals. And I used to sing. I did sing in a band when I was 17.
Uh-huh.
And I've always sang all my life. I sing, and I used to sing in this band. And then one day I heard somebody talking, and they described me as tone deaf and different things. And it was a stepmother at the time. I've had quite a few. No, I haven't had quite a few, but I've had more than one.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, she's tone deaf. She couldn't hold a note if she tried." And that was it. I stopped singing. I just stopped singing. I did not sing. And then I uh, came to live in here in Éire. The first time round, this is my second time living here, but the first time around I came to sing, and everybody sings here. People couldn't give a hoot. Like in front of people, I would sing again, and I love singing. Yesterday I had an experience. I was trying to sing from my divine. So I was trying to connect with my divine through sound. And I was there going, but there was all sorts of sounds coming out of me, and I was like, oh, trying to find where this. I think Geetha Ben David, sorry, describes it as the voice of God. And I was there, and then I found this kind of thing that thought, oh, I think that feels nice, and started to just make sound on that vibration. I'll call it singing, but make sound on that vibration. And
Uh-huh.
then my dog started going, oh, oh, and my dog started singing with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's obviously something going on. So I stopped singing and thought, oh, I'd like to record this. So I started to try and record it and find that place again. And the dog just looked at me and he was like, it's not happening. You just lost the vibe. Like you just knocked it on the head. So then I just thought, forget trying to record me and the dog singing, because my dog has sang with me a couple of times now. So what I realize is, and then I got to a note again, I tried it again and it worked again. I wasn't filming it or anything. I thought, oh, okay. And then we were out in the garden, and I was clearing and whatever, and he started barking. And I started singing, just singing. I was in my head, I got an Elton John song, which was really strange. And he was barking and being a bit kind of angsty. And I started to just sing the words, but finding that vibration. And eventually the dog just sat and was just fine. So I realized that, I mean, I've always known that dogs work on your energy, not what you're saying and things like that. So my singing is something that I love to do. My
Mhm.
family and my husband all know that if I'm singing around the house, I'm in a really good space. It's unlikely that I do sing when I'm in pain. Um, and funnily enough, I sang in the garden when I was in pain yesterday and realised that I was just filled with grief. But yeah, so I love to sing, and I now do use my voice. I don't sing on stages. I do meditations on stages, and I do things on festivals, um, and I do let sound. But I know that it's ever so funny because I kind of grew up and I went into the performing arts, and I can act. I will act, and I've written a one-woman show which is about a singer, funnily enough. So I could sing as that character. But one of the things that I learned about myself, possibly 2 or 3 decades ago, was, I mean, my voice was shut down by this person sort of telling me that I couldn't do it, and I believed them, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
then I also realized that my voice, I can act as other people because then I'm not me. But I see my voice as very much being my authentic me.
Mhm.
And was really if I sing, that opened me up for a criticism that I was not strong enough to receive, to be able to function with and move forward with. I'm not sure that I haven't sang out in public and had anybody say anything untoward to me recently, and I am in a place where I don't care as much. Hence the reason if you ask me to sing, I will sing. But to go on stage as a singer, it's a bit like for me when people say they're a comedian, to go on stage and say, I'm going to make you laugh. I think that's amazing. I just think, wow, with so many different types of humor and whatever. Somebody actually saying, I am a comedian, I think they're the bravest people. Because what happens if nobody laughs? So I now I definitely embrace my work, my voice with my work, and I can see and receive its power. I can't deny that my voice has power. Um, I'm aware, always growing up, I was aware that people used to say, you've got a voice. I could work on sex lines. People always said I had that kind of voice, which these aren't things really that you want to be promoting, but that's what people say. Oh, when
Yeah,
you've got
you
that
have a
voice
very
that would work.
sultry voice. It's beautiful. It's very, very
Yes.
sultry. Beautiful, yes.
Oh,
But
thank you.
there's
I've never heard
also,
it called
yeah.
sultry. I like sultry. But beats
And
saying you can go and work on a sex line. You've
I
got a
know,
sultry.
right?
It's about
So
delivery. It's all about delivery.
I just wanted to share with you. So here I am sitting in Africa, okay? And everybody sings. Everybody sings. And it doesn't matter whether you have a voice that is tone deaf or not. People sing full voice out loud all the time, just walking down the street. They're
I
walking
do
down
that
the street singing a full voice song. We're on the bus and it's an 8 hour ride, and somebody is singing full voice across the bus. And then sometimes people join in. Um, one time was really hilarious. I'm on the bus and I'm going from Luanda to Benguela. It's like an 8, 10, 13 hour drive. And remember, I'm in a Portuguese speaking country. So someone decides that they're going to sing American songs all the way down in English. So I was just laughing. It was just so cute and it was so funny because they were just like so proud. And then I could see where they were kind of placing words where they couldn't figure out what they were saying. So they were just kind of putting the
Mm.
words that they interpreted there. But what I learned here, because I also was shut down singing, and I sing too, and I sing with my work. And I sing, I'm not afraid to sing in front of anybody anymore. But my sister went to Juilliard. And so she had perfect pitch. And so I would be singing in background. She'd be going, oh God, who's singing? What is that? And it would be me. And it was just like, shut me down, completely shut me down. And when I hit 50 years old, is when I came out of the closet of I'm going to sing. Like I sang in the church choir, but it's okay because, everybody's
Mhm.
singing. Nobody can really hear you and you don't stand out. But when I started singing by myself, singing because of the fact that song opens that vortex, if it's the right song, and just allows such a connection with spirit and such
Absolutely.
an unbelievable hold of space that I was like, I'm not holding anything back. I don't care what anyone says. I'm singing. I'm singing. And then the types of songs that I was learning in terms of being able to do that from a spiritual perspective too, I was like, there's no way that I'm holding it back. So to me, I'm in the land of song. Everybody has a song. Everybody.
Yeah.
And we should all be singing our song.
I mean,
And
it's about
I'm in the,
finding that,
go
yeah,
ahead. Go
finding
ahead.
that sound, finding that vibration where your dog will sing
Mhm.
with you. That's what needs to come. I live in the bog, in the boglands of Éire, and so just down the lane there is the bog, and it's a quite a magical, amazing place. And when I'm really not in the right place, I go to the bog, and it feeds me songs. I end up singing. It literally feeds me. So I connect with it, and it just gives me songs, and predominantly songs of gratitude and joy and hope and love. And yeah, so I love
Yeah.
I love I think singing is beautiful. I think everyone can sing,
Yeah,
whether people appreciate it, but to add your, and definitely, and that's the beauty of a choir, you can have somebody that perhaps isn't, he's not Beyonce, but they are more Bob Dylan than Beyonce. Do you know what I mean? Like, Bob's a
exactly,
great
exactly.
lyricist and everything else, but and in his singing voice, you're kind of like, really, Bob? But it's beautiful because it comes from that place, and I think that that is the essence of song, is that it's this the place that it comes from. And when you
Yeah,
can tap into that space of where I was trying to get to yesterday, that divine space, that divine sound, because we've been involved in energy, vibration and frequency roundtables. So if I can tap into that space, and I notice it sometimes when I'm talking as well, um, the more authentic you become in your speech, whether it's your speech or your singing, there is a change in your tone. There is a change
yeah.
in there's just a change. And I remember a friend once, she phoned me up and she goes, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm all right." She went, "No, you're not." She says, "I saw you the other day." She says, "And you were there." She says, "And you were smiling and everything." And she's a singer, as it happens. And she goes, "But your sound was off, Helen. Your sound was so off." And she's, because that's how she receives. So she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Wow." And, I just burst into tears.
Yeah.
One, because somebody seen me, somebody really, they knew me and they saw me and they heard me, they felt me. So I just think that that whole, the God said, "Let there be." So everything that has come into the power within sound is just phenomenal. Like, "Let there be light," and there was light. And then Kathleen just spoke about Toth, I think it was. She mentioned Toth or Roth, and apparently he said 47. I can't remember the amount of things, but he spoke the world into existence. So I think,
Yeah.
when we're dealing with sound, especially our own voice, and this is where and I think that when you, as a woman, and I've just listened to another roundtable on menopause, actually, as you become through your 50s into your 60s and you start to go through that menopause, they just said that it comes from your sacral chakra, and it's your throat chakra that decide that you kind of
Uh-huh.
are operating from. And that is that, again, there's that wisdom, there's that authenticity, that is when you speak from, when you make sound from that, an authentic vibrational place within you, that divine within you, there is such power in it. And I think, even now, we can talk for hours, but how much is actually authentic? How much is actually from the divine? I think that's a very
Yeah,
different question, and
it is.
a very different vibration. And whether it's possible. I mean, now I'm sitting there going, "Are you not always authentic?" In my head, is talking to me as words are coming out of the mouth. The head is going, "Aren't you always authentic, Helen? Don't you always tell the truth?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I do tell the truth." Conversation happening in my head, and because
I'm gonna switch gears on you. I'm gonna switch gears on you because there's so much I want to talk to you about. First of all, you are an adventure seeker. You are. I saw your website. I loved it. And
thank
I
you.
want to I want to know all of the different types of activities you like to do because you strike me as a person that goes from scuba diving to rock climbing to whatever
I
the
would.
case. So talk to me a
Not
little
done
bit
either of those as it happens. Um, I have, no, that's not true. I've done rock climbing, but not up a mountain. I haven't done scuba diving, but as you're aware, we're going to Egypt in September. That's already sorted.
uh-huh.
I would love to come with you in October, but I'm like, how do I do this? And scuba diving with dolphins, I believe, is something you can do in Egypt. So I'm going to do that. So I
You're
will
gonna
do scuba.
love it. I scuba dive. I love it. I love scuba diving. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's amazing. But that's the water thing again.
yeah. I think, yeah, it is. I think life is an adventure. I think that, and I think for me to engage with life in that way, I find that I don't like to use the term happy, but I'm definitely more a happier person when I'm in that everything is an adventure, and I try desperately, and no, not desperately, it's become more natural now, but you know, to live every day anew, to not see things as the second, third, 100th time. And I'm not successful in all areas of my life in that, trust me, but to see life as an adventure. I go out yesterday, no, not yesterday's day before now, with the grandchildren, and we jump in. They jump. Well, I don't jump in puddles because one of my wellies leaks, and I don't like wet feet. But you know, jumping in puddles and kind of seeing the puddles and new and the swirls and new, and yes, it's all happened before, but to try and see life in itself as an adventure, cooking a meal as an adventure. I have jumped out of parachutes. I had not parachutes. I've jumped out of planes with a parachute.
I died. I died. Okay.
So, and I have gone up in yeah, I like the whole idea. Somebody's put something on yesterday of a roller coaster, but you hold on. It's you, just one person hanging, rather than sitting in things, and you go down the roller coaster. And I was like, oh yes, please, I'd like to do that, because I would like to do that. That just attracts me so much. I love the whole. I just think life is an adventure, and there's so much to be experienced, to be seen, to be felt. And it's not just the high kind of high energy, high octane stuff. You
Mhm.
know, right now I've got chicken. You've heard me talk about my chickens. My chickens are, I'm all about chickens at the moment because they're new to me.
Okay.
And it's such that's an adventure to kind of engage with these chickens. And I've learned so much about my dad, which I never knew. Since I had my chickens, I never knew he had chickens before he left Jamaica when he was a child and
Uh-huh.
growing up. But now that I have chickens, he's like, oh, you got to do this with the chicken. Like, one of the chickens died, and he went, you should have done this before you plucked it. And I was like, how do you know that? And he's like, well, I had chickens growing up. And I was like, how did I not know? I'm 60 years old and I never knew my dad had chickens. Now I know he had chickens because he's telling me how to get them to roost, how to get them to lay eggs, and what to do with the eggs and everything else. And I'm like, Dad, and he lights up. My dad lights up about it. And I'm like, Dad, you're lighting up. You love chickens, don't you? And he went, yeah. And I think he'd forgotten how much he loves chickens. So I think an adventure can be found in every moment of life. This is an adventure. I have no idea where we're going to go. And before we got on, I was like, oh, shoot. I'll say shoot because I do have bad language that flies out of my mouth, or what people deem to be bad language. What's going to come up? What are you going to say? Are you going to look this? Are you going... And so all of that sort of excitement and anxiety and everything's there because it's an adventure. We're going on an
Uh-huh.
adventure. And I actually run a 6-week adventure, and it's called A 6-Week Adventure to You. We're in week 5 of one of the adventures. They are, and I've decided that they're only going to run through winter months from, I think it's September, October to March, April, because in the summer we need to be out. We shouldn't, you know, the adventure is
Wow.
an internal adventure on the whole. So therefore it will be done in the winter through the hibernation period. In my head, that works. But yes, I do love
Hmm.
adventure.
I love it. I love it. And then how did you tie healing to adventure and adventure seeking and adventure
Oh,
engagement?
well, anything, an adventure pushes you outside your comfort zone. I mean,
Of course.
if you're on an adventure, if you view life as an adventure, you're constantly on the edge of your comfort zone because you're open and inviting, you know, something new to come and challenge you, something new to come and not even challenge you, but something new to push you, pull you, guide you, stop you. There's always something on, you know, when you go on I did a basic expedition training award qualification many years ago, going out like camping, orienteering,
Uh-huh.
hill walking. There was mountaineering in, and that's not when I climbed a mountain, but so it was about being out. And one of the things that like I really learned was there's just even working in groups. There was people that we were in the classroom to start off, obviously, to kind of get skills and things before we got going. And there was people in there that I was like, not sure about you. You know, you make your judgments about people, etc. And then we went into this alternate environment, and it just really showed me. I learned that everyone is necessary. Everyone has something to give, and even those people that you're kind of like, not sure about you. you put them in a different environment, and this is so true about us in general, and they shine, and yet you put them in this environment and you're like, whoa. And yet, so it's
Uh-huh.
about it's there's loads of memes and stories now that kind of allude to the same thing. If you're not valued somewhere, you're in the wrong environment. Find the environment where you're valued. So that kind of set me off on the adventure of appreciating everybody, even those people I don't like. And that is an adventure, and that is a challenge, but an adventure. So in terms of adventure and healing, I had to remember then what you asked me. I'm terrible for forgetting and going off on tangents. An adventure is something that you plan for. It is something that you engage with, and it is something that you are prepared. You are prepared to be challenged. You are prepared to be pushed outside your comfort zone. You are prepared, depending on if it's a physical adventure, you're prepared to either go very high and perhaps not have enough air. You're prepared to go deep dive, and you have to have snorkels. You have to have equipment. You're prepared to be pushed to be cold, to be hot, to be challenged, to rest as well. You know, an adventure, within an adventure, you need to rest, recuperate. There's so much within it, and the healing happens as soon as you agree. I used to call my business, it is Authentic Discovery now, I used to call it Crossing the Threshold, which was just too long. But that was about, because it takes so much to take that step towards the self. It takes phenomenal courage. I think it's far too underestimated, that when somebody comes before you and goes, hello, you know, just what it's taken to get to that point. And once you make the decision, I'm going to join this adventure, I'm going to cross this threshold, I'm going to take that step, healing has already begun. And in most
Begun.
cases,
Yes,
it's
I
all,
love that.
it's a, and I create, for me, because for many years, you have to get your elevator pitch. I hate elevator pitches. No, I'm like, oh, I don't like elevator
Ah,
pitches in business. I'm just like, I'm not that person. But you've got to get your elevator. So you've got to kind of have this clarity on what you do. And every time I tried to do one, I was like, oh, nothing resonated, until I realized that what I offer is I facilitate space for healing and exploration. I will be with you as you enter. If you're coming to my physical space, you're going to be outside barefoot. That's a fact, because I'm all about, the best healing medicine is outside of the house.
yeah.
So you're going to do that. If we're working online, I'm going to facilitate space for us to heal, for us both to heal. I don't. There's not one client, and at this point in my life, I've worked with possibly thousands of people in different ways. There is not one person that I have worked with that hasn't helped me heal, hasn't helped me grow, hasn't, on my healing, that therapeutic engagement is not just about the therapist. I'm going to heal you. No, I'm going to facilitate space. I'm going to hold space, but I am fully aware that things are going to happen within that space that are about my healing, not yours. They're about mine. So we're going to do that. We're going to facilitate. I facilitate space for healing and exploration, and for you to be, because I know that when I trained and we had to go for therapy, and I was like, can't I just do aromatherapy? They were like, no. uh, yeah, I really didn't want, so
No.
I had to go for therapy, and the therapist said, so what do you want to do? And I said, well, I have to be here. I have to be here as part of my training, because when you do psychotherapeutic training, you have to undergo psychotherapy, you have to undergo your own process. And she goes, well, what would you like to do then? If you've got to be here, what do you want to do? And I said, I would love to just be, because up until that point in my life, I realized I was always doing, I was always trying to prove myself. I grew up in an
Right.
environment that told me that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't well. And so I always went through a lot of my life proving that I had a right to be here. And this is where I think part of my absolute devotion to what Mama Nature gives us and what she shows me constantly. At the time, we were living rurally, and we got 3/4 of an acre of grass that needed cutting. And if you've ever cut grass on a regular basis, most people will go, "Oh, jeez, the grass is growing again. Oh, jeez,
I
the grass is
know.
growing."
Yes.
So,
I had
but
to.
what happened for me was grass is one of the most inspirational, and I'm getting emotional here because the grass just gave me so much. I've never met a blade of grass that requested permission to be there, or requested permission to grow, or requested anything. It just grows. It doesn't care if you're going to cut it. It doesn't care if you're going to, dig it up and try and throw it somewhere else. Grass is going to grow, or whatever type of grass it is. So for me, that is that whole being, allowing to be. And I in my healing journey, what it has given me is a gift that for most people that come to me, I can create a space where they feel safe enough to explore. They feel safe enough to go places that they wouldn't go. And that is a gift both for me and for them. I've worked with groups and people have gone, "You have no idea what you do you, Helen?" And I went, "No, and I don't really want to know how I do stuff." And this is a thread throughout. And this is why I love your language, because you're able to identify and put into words the stuff that I'm like, I do that. I do it. But I can't. For me to put it into words, I'm like, so when I'm listening, I'm like, I do that. Oh. So I have lots of those moments. But because part of me is worried, I suppose. There is a fear, and it is rooted in a kind of fear that if I'm able to fully identify the components of what I do, the way that we all everybody likes to break stuff down now. And she does this, she does that, says this, she puts that in a tone, or she does this, or she creates that structure, she does it, that I'll lose it. So I don't really want to know how I do what I do, or the technicalities behind it, or the structure behind it. I just want to know that it's of value and that it resonates for people. So the
Yeah.
adventure and the healing for me, that's all adventure and healing, because none of us know what's coming within. I've just watched the cows walk down the road. You just don't know what's going to happen, or what vistas your eyes are going to see. And it's a mindset, isn't it? Healing is a mindset. Once you make that
It is.
choice,
It
going
is.
on
And
an adventure is a
that's
choice.
yeah. That's what I love about what you do, because most of the time when you're spending time with people, the first thing you do is, are you doing what you love? And most people are going, no, I'm not doing what I love, which is why I was so fascinated with your work, because you gotta love adventure, and the healing is the byproduct of the adventure. How great is that? It took me 30 years to figure that out. And when I got divorced and I sat down, I'm like, what is it that I love? And so, you know what I did? I wrote a list. Here are all of the things that I do, right? And when I say I do, that I enjoy doing, like I like to scuba dive,
Mm.
I like to ski, I like horseback riding, I like skeet shooting, I like canoeing, I like all of these things. And I put all of that on one side of the paper. And then I wrote on the other side of the paper all of the things I don't like to do, right? And so I'm
Mm.
like, okay, square peg in a round hole, right? Everybody always tells you find a job, right? And I was like, here are all the things that I like to do. So I'm going to create a job around that, or whatever job I'm going to do, I want to be able to pick from this list and do it. And that's why I
Mm.
love working with people in groups, empowerment, going off into a retreat, because where you're doing the adventure just in general, I'm like, okay, here I am sitting on a beach in the most beautiful place in the world, sharing with you how to heal. And then we're going off and we're going to go horseback riding. Yeah, I like that. Or we're going to go and we're going to have some really authentic food. Or we're going to go canoeing. I went Hawaiian canoeing with the Hawaiian canoe boat. And then he happened to
Gosh,
be a shaman, and it was phenomenal. I love adventure also. And so when I saw what you did and package that to do what you love, it's like we're trying to teach people to do this. You
yes.
know, stuck in
I do
something.
think that one of the greatest teachers, though, is example. So the fact that you're doing it, people are empowered by that. I've had people come to me definitely over the last 4 years, and they're like, "Oh, I want your life," and I'm like, "Really?" And I'm thinking, "No, you don't." No, you don't. No, you know, people are like, "Oh gosh, you're doing this. Oh gosh, you're doing that. Oh wow, wow, wow." And my husband's constantly going, Why don't people live the lives that they want to live?" And there's so many things that I
Mhm.
still want to do. There's so much about my life yet that I haven't yet lived. And I'm
Right.
like, and you want my life, and I'm not even living the life fully that I want to live. You know, like, so there's still so much out there to explore. And somebody says, if somebody was talking to somebody once and they went about going to the moon or going to other planets, and I was like, no, I haven't even finished on this planet yet. I haven't even touched the tip of this planet yet. You know, you talk about alien life. I'm thinking that alien life's under the sea. You know, there's things in the air and things under the sea that you know, we could be the aliens on this planet. So the whole idea of going somewhere else while in this life, in this kind of in with this temple, I'm happy to stay on this planet in this temple, and it can continue that exploration, you know,
Uh-huh.
before I go skipping off anywhere else, because there is the sea to explore, and I've never scuba dived, like I've never dived, so I haven't been under the sea. I haven't seen a real coral reef yet. So hello, you know, there's just so much that I want to do here, and some of it would be deemed adventures, and some of it would seem like nothing to some people. We had the grandchildren over at the weekend, and like I said, we went out puddle jumping and just sitting on a settee with the grandchildren. An adventure to watch them. And my grandson was born at 26 weeks. So he was born really, really early. And obviously we didn't know whether he would make it. But what he does for me is, as I've watched him over the last 4 years, most definitely him, but he has really brought home to me, we are all miracles. Life is a miracle. It is an absolute, the stuff that we've overcome to just become a baby, and then to
Yeah.
grow, and then to see everything anew. And he has absolutely pushed me in the last 4 years. He's only 3.5 though, but to see things anew and to find the adventure in the everyday that we live. You know,
Yeah.
I thought there was one type of ivy. There's loads of types of ivy. I'm learning about ivy. There's just so much, and we've been led to believe that our joy and our, as I think it's Joseph, what's his name? Joseph, the hero's way. Joseph, somebody, I can't remember his name. Campbell. Joseph Campbell. He talks about finding your bliss,
Okay.
and um in the if we can stop trying to look for this bliss, I think, in the external world. Well, when I
Mhm.
say the external world, I'm going to say the matrix, for want of a better expression, because I'm still I know I'm still in that. But you know, like in the fast paced, we've got to work, we've got to do this, we've got
Right.
to all that noise. If
Noise.
you or if you just bring it back, and then, I mean, right now I'm watching, there's a bird of prey flying over the cows, you know, like,
Uh-huh.
wow. The chickens, the wire cutting, the shoots, you know, like watching a shoot come up, watching your potatoes chit, and eating something that you have grown is just, these are things that have kind of been put into the realms of old age pensioners and people that haven't got any life, and you know, they're not. And yet if we took time to actually see the beauty and the wonder of that, and you know, and nature just constantly gives you, you know, the seed that's planted in the dark. You know, you're
Mhm.
there in the dark, and then you reach for the light. And when you watch, I mean, I've watched my, so far my snowdrops have come up, and they just bring me such joy, because I'm like, yes, the snowdrops
Yes.
have come up. Winter's almost finished, and the daffodils come up, and I'm like, yay, the daffodils come up, and with spring, we've survived through the winter, and the tulips are up, and you know, the dandelions are coming up, and the cleavers are up, and the roses, and my pear trees starting to blossom, and I'm just like, wow, because it's
Yeah. And
just,
it's you talk about this world, and it amazes me because I've been places like I moved upstate New York, and I lived upstate New York for a long time. And there were people who had never left that town. And I can't even imagine
mm,
it, right? One of the things, we do is we cast our net. Some of us cast our net around our community. That's great. That's where you want to be. That's your community. And that's where they grow up and they die all their lives. And then other people cast
Mm.
the net a little bit wider. Maybe it's the state or a few states around them, and that's really good. But for me, it was like I had to cast my net worldwide. I want to see the world. I want to see what it looks like in Asia, in Indonesia, in Russia, and just everywhere. I just want to see it. It's not that I need to live there and I don't need to,
Mm.
relocate or anything else like that. I just wanted to have walked this world. And
Oh,
that's why I set out for just like, I love culture. I love experiencing culture because people do things differently and you've been doing the same thing your whole life the same way all the time, all the time, all the time. Then you go just in the next country over. And the same thing that you would approach is done completely different way. And it's just like, a dawning of a new age, wisdom. Because guess what? It can be done this way and it
yeah,
works. There are many
yeah.
roads to one thing. Many,
Yes,
many
all
roads.
roads lead to Rome.
I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to experience.
I have a belief. It hasn't happened yet. It will. There's no part of me. I did have a little bit of a wobble during my 50s. Like, is this going to happen? Especially, well, 2020 kind of pushed my wobbles. But I truly believe that I am going to. My feet is going to touch every single continent in this world. Every single continent.
Yes.
There's no part of me that does not believe that I will enter into the continents that I haven't touched as of yet are South America, Australasia, the Arctics, and Asia. I've touched Americas, I've touched
Mhm.
Europe, I'm a European,
Mhm.
I've touched
Yep.
Africa, so I
Yep.
know that whether in my head I'm going to travel and do all sorts of things, but what I do know is that my feet will touch every single continent of this world. And I will, if I die right this second, if I drop dead right here, right now, I will die knowing, believing that is going to happen. So yeah,
And
that kind.
it's so important that we're having this conversation because so many people, okay, there's this balance of being able to have your resources and live. But I mean, why did we work? Why do people work for 30, 40 years to what? To get sick in their 50s and then die off and then not get a chance to do anything?
Mhm.
I don't want to do that. I worked so that I could live,
Yeah,
and
there is that saying, isn't that? Do you live to work or do you work to
where you
live?
work to live.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And
I
I love going in different country perspectives and where that particular country is. Their vacation spots are totally different from where you usually grow up, right? So if I grew up in Americas, I'm used to going to the Bahamas or the Caribbean islands. I'm used to going maybe to Europe, and I'm used to going, within the vicinity of what's accessible. Maybe I get really daring to go to Hawaii or I go to Australia and New Zealand, but for the most part, the South America, right? But I wanna be able to touch all of the countries too. And I'm counting. I've gotten to 40 so far. 40 countries.
You do
Touchdown.
really well. You do really well. I'm talking about
Um,
continents, and you're talking about countries. But I decided a long time ago, actually. I think I was in my late 30s, early 40s, that I wanted a life that I didn't have a holiday from, or that I needed a holiday from. I didn't make
right.
sense to me to live
I like that.
um to live a life where I needed a holiday. It was like, well, why would I need a holiday from my life if my life isn't reflecting who I am? It just made no sense. So I now believe that I am in that space. I don't need a holiday from my life. My life is glorious. I still want to travel. I still want to see things, but this is my life. I have no desire to have a holiday from it. I have gone through dark places, and last year I actually courted. I really, I was like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I kind of reached a very dark place. But anyway, but in terms of having a holiday from it, retiring from my life, I've got no intention of retiring from my life. I've got no intention of having a holiday from my life. I have no desire at all to have a to have a weekend, to have, and yet I am fully indoctrinated into these kind of structures. But makes no sense for me to retire, makes no sense to me to have a holiday or a vacation from my life, makes no sense to me to take time off. from my life. If I'm taking time off, if I'm, doesn't that mean I'm dying? Doesn't that mean I'm dead? If I'm gonna, just it just
Time
doesn't
off.
make sense. Whatever it is that is, whatever this is, well, my experience, I don't work per se in the traditional sense. I can tell you I'm going to work, but I don't. That whole idea of work in the constructs of what we now know just does not vibe. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I've got things that I do at certain times, places that I go at certain times, but
Yeah.
they are part of my flow of life. I'm not working per se. I don't want to earn a living. I'm alive already. Hello. Don't need to earn
Yeah.
it. I'm here, already here. So the whole idea of earning a living. Now, don't get me wrong, I need certain things in my life to be able to function. So it's not that I don't want to generate wealth and generate means by which I do what I want to do. But some of the things that have been fed to me, no, you can go feed them. In fact, I don't want you to feed them to anybody or anything. Just they're not for me. I'm not going to earn a living. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to retire from my life. I'm not going to take a break from my life. I'm not going to have a holiday from my life. I'm going to live my life and accept the experiences that come before me, figure out how to navigate the challenges, and all of the time constantly thinking, like trying to accept that everything is as it should be, and I'm here in this space this time for a reason. um Even if I don't like it, what is it that I'm here for? And I have people have told me that I'm faithful and that I'm loyal and that I'm spiritual, and I'm like, what the fuck do these what are you talking? What does that look? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Um, and I do. In all seriousness, I'm part of me is like, what do you mean? And the other part of me is there is something about my experience that is not tangible. I can't
Mhm.
touch it. I can't, but it is very real. I hear it, I feel it, I sense it. I see it in the faces and spaces that I inhabit, but I can't actually touch it as that. And that for me is God. That for me is that divine that dwells within.
Yeah.
And I had a revelation the other day because I've been going through some stuff. And one of the things that came up was a sense of inadequacy. Anyway, I was sitting in my, I've done lots, I don't know about anybody else, but we're in the, where we are in this time, I've done lots of recently. And I was in this space and this inadequacy thing came up again. And God, the divine within me, told me off. I don't get told off regularly. Well, I do, but not in this way. But I did get told off. It was like, how dare you consider yourself inadequate when the divine chooses to dwell within you? I was like,
Okay.
I got nothing else to say. I'm not inadequate. I'm not inadequate at all. And whatever inadequacies may still be lingering in this being, they are being expelled because that's what came. And that's what, and that sense of the divinity within me, that I was chosen, and this is everyone. And I've spent a lot of my life seeing the divine within others or acknowledging the divine within others. And when
Yeah.
you look at everyone as divine, I mean, I had to apologize to my dog the other day, especially when it was this inadequacy about the divine choosing to dwell within everything. And then I looked at my dog and I was like, my dog died there. And then I thought, geez, you give your dog a good knee the other day because he kept jumping all over you and you was like, get out my way. And I thought, oh no, I've just hit the dog and I've hit God in the same sentence. So, kind of, I'm by no means what some people would consider perfect, although I am a perfect me, because I really want people to show me the perfect me that they're comparing me to if I'm not
Mhm.
perfect, if I'm not a perfect me. So and all of this ties into a spirituality and a philosophy for me, that as much as I'm saying it's something I can't touch, it's so very, very real. And it's a motivator. Like if I think of my companions through my life, Jesus is absolute. I can't deny that consciousness, that those words, my mentors in life are Jesus and Bob Marley, to be fair. They're the two that come to mind straight away. Their content and what they say, their voice, their vibration. I don't want to look too deeply into their lives because, we all our shit stinks. If it didn't, we'd all be
Yeah.
selling it as Chanel. So, but that I don't know what I'm saying now, and I don't know why I'm saying it, so I'm going to stop.
I love it. I love it. We're almost coming up on an hour. I can't believe how quick the time is going.
Wow.
But
Wow.
what I would love for you to share is what wisdom do you want to tell people out there who may be listening and hearing your story and going, I love it. I love the way that she just embraces life to its fullest and has the adventure. And I swear you could put half of the things that you said on a t-shirt or a bumper sticker. I'm going to remember that one too. But the one you just said about living life, why do I need to take a break from my life if I'm living it the right way? Exactly. Or retire from life. Why? What are you doing? you know?
Uh, what would I like to share? I used to, and I suppose this is one of the things that has kind of carried through into, even though I don't do it in my radio show, the podcasting, do these conversations of speak your truth. And for me, I don't know if this is a wisdom I wish to share, but it's definitely something I would encourage people to do. Speak your truth.
Yeah.
Speak your truth. At least let yourself hear your truth, hear your, because we're living in a world where we can't express what we want to express because we might offend somebody, or we might, or even as I'm saying it, I want to puke. Um, and the reality is that we as a species need to hear ourselves. I don't know whether we were talking on here about the vibrate. Yeah, we were. The vibration, the sound. We need to hear words come out of our mouths. And one
Yeah.
of the reasons is because I know for myself that when I say some things, I literally go, geez, is that what I think? Because I'm surprised at what comes out. I'm like, whoa, do I read? And we need to hear ourselves to be able to ask ourselves, is that what I really think? Because we've got so much running around. And we need to speak our truth so that people know what our law is for ourselves. This is what I believe to be true. This is how I choose to live my life. I'm not asking anyone else to live my life the way that I do, or to live their life the way that I do. But this is my truth. This is what is important to me. And I need to hear that. I need to speak it into existence. And I think it's speak your truth, speak your truth, and don't and then is that my truth? Once you've said it, if it's the first time you're saying it, doesn't necessarily, it's not written in stone. You have said it, it has gone out, but now you get the chance to go, actually, I'd like to tweak that. Actually, I'd like to build on that. Actually, that is so me. Whoa, that's not me. Whatever it is, to honor the truth of that moment, but to speak your truth, to say your truth, to let the world hear you and receive you on that vibration, because all creation was made from sound vibration. Let it be. So that would be what I would say to people. And you see, if your truth offends people, that's their business. As long as you don't mean to be offensive, just because people are offended doesn't mean that you are offensive. We still need to speak our truth. And if that challenges, if it upsets you, and a lot of what I say to me when it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, right, what did I say that for? Do I really think that? But I think that's what I would share with people. Speak your truth. Let your sound come and join in the cacophony of sound of the world and bring your harmony to it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And you cannot leave here without sharing how people can reach you, how they can contact you. If they want to work
Oh,
with you, please do share.
okay, you can get in touch with me. I'm going to look directly into the camera. You can get in touch with me via my website, which is authenticdiscovery.co.uk. And on my website, you will find out information about me, where I've been, what I'm doing, the things that I offer. So I work within what I call a sacred gift economy. So this is not about worrying about how much something's going to cost you. Any energy exchange, gratitude is an energy exchange. If you can afford it, I trust. I'm working on trust. Part of this is working on trust that you're not going to shaft me, because I do have things that I need to acquire. So you can find out information about me on my website. You can find me on all social media platforms. Although I'm not sure how long I'm going to remain on Facebook and Instagram. They drive me bananas, to be fair. So you can find me on Telegram. At Loving Response is my handle on Telegram. And one of the reasons it's at Loving Response is because it's a reminder to me that I want to come from that place. It's not that you're going to get a loving response, it's that I will try to as opposed to. So I'm on social media. My website is authenticdiscovery.co.uk. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm on some others as well that I don't really engage with. But yeah, you can find me, Helen Gibson. And that is me. If you wish to work with me, I offer corporate programs because I'm quite passionate about supervision, which I haven't spoken about. I don't like the terminology of supervision, but I'm aware that within the corporate world, supervision is something that happens. And unless you've got an external supervisor, it is far too incestuous to be of benefit. And I offer my services as an external supervisor.
Excellent. I would love for you to be that supervisor. We would have some fun.
No, it's one that I'm a real believer in supervision. I'm quite wary of people that don't think that if you're working with people that you don't need no help yourself. You know, for your client's safety, I think supervision is a really wonderful process. I'm
Mhm.
not a fan of its title, but the process of it I just think is invaluable. And having done it both clinical, I'm not a clinical supervisor, but having done it, received clinical supervision for the last 20 odd years, nearly 30, and to give professional supervision, when it's done in your business by your manager, how do you say to your manager, I've got a problem with my manager? And then you've got to go out to that space and work with them. Do you know what I mean? So I think that supervision, external supervision, should be done. I don't think it should be internal. I think it should be external. And I think it should be independent so that people can engage with the process effectively. Key things within a group can be highlighted by the supervisor. There's an issue with this. There's an issue with that. Training is needed here. This is needed, rather than, oh well, my I don't get on with my line manager, and I've got to tell them that they're constantly doing this and it's not right, and then you've got to go out and work with them. It's very difficult. Very difficult.
No worries. No, I was actually saying that I really do believe that you would be a phenomenal supervisor because the insight that you provide, and then also coming from such an authentic place, it would be phenomenal experience, I would think. So, yes, 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 yes. So, can't believe that we are coming to completion of another Infinite Possibility episode. I want to thank you, Helen Gibson, for providing us with such beautiful wisdom and stories and thoughtfulness. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And to my studio audience or my audience out there, if you like what you saw, please like us, please subscribe to us, please share this episode. And you know what? Helen thinks she's off, the hook, but I'm going to ask her to say goodbye by singing the end at the show, just like she does with hers, because I love your voice. So will you sing us
Okay. Is there any particular song you'd like me to sing?
whatever your heart desires, whatever makes you happy?
Okay, I've sang this song. I actually have to go and get the lyrics for this song, but I sing this song. I do sing this song, and it's an Irish song, and I'm actually pulling up the lyrics as I'm kind of pulling it to
Okay.
telling you, and it's an Irish song, and it was written by what was his? I can't. Oh, Helen. I do actually know. It was it's to do with the 1916 Rising, which will have just been celebrated yesterday,
Okay.
and it's this person was being brought out to be shot the next morning.
By the way, everyone who doesn't know where you are in England, correct? You're in London,
No, no, no,
or
no,
where?
no. I'm in Éire, the corporation known as Ireland.
Ireland. I apologize.
Yeah, no, no.
So,
So this is an Irish song, and I hope that I can do it some justice. Um, Here we go. As we gather in the chapel here in old Kilmainham jail, I think about these past few weeks. Oh, will they say we failed? From our school days, they have told us we must yearn for liberty. Yet all I want in this dark place is to have you here with me. Oh, grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger. They'll take me out at dawn and I will die. With all my love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye. Okay. But when Porrick called me to his side down in the GPO, I had to leave my own sick bed. To him I had to go. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger. They take me out at dawn and I will die. With all my love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye. Now, as the dawn is breaking, my heart is breaking too. On this May morn, as I walk out, my thoughts will be with you. And I'll write some words upon the wall so everyone will know I love so much that I could see his blood upon the rose. Oh, Grace, just hold me in your arms and let this moment linger. They'll take me out at dawn and I will die. With all my love, I'll place this wedding ring upon your finger. There won't be time to share our love, for we must say goodbye. So that's a love song that makes me cry actually, because I think it's so beautiful.
oh, thank you
It's
so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me. And thank you for honoring me with your presence here today as well.
And we honor you. And that was Helen Gibson. And this has been another episode of The Infinite Way. We'll see you next time. Bye.